It began like many love stories do, filled with promise, hope, and dreams for the future. Amanda and Eric were college sweethearts, inseparable from their first meeting. He was studying law, and she was majoring in psychology. Their chemistry was electric, and their bond undeniable. It seemed like nothing could ever come between them. After graduation, they married in a small ceremony in Amanda's hometown. Friends and family surrounded them with love, and for a while, everything was perfect. They bought a home in the suburbs, Eric passed the bar, and became a rising star at a prestigious law firm, and Amanda opened her own child therapy practice. A few years later, they welcomed their first child, Lily, followed by a son, Noah, just 2 years after. To the outside world, they were the picture of a happy, successful family. But behind closed doors, cracks had begun to form. The demands of Eric's job kept him away more often than not. Amanda, juggling her practice and the children, began to feel overwhelmed and isolated. Conversations turned into arguments. Affection gave way to distance. Trust began to erode. By the time Noah turned 5, Amanda and Eric's relationship had deteriorated beyond repair. Counseling hadn't helped. The tension at home had become unbearable. And in one difficult, heartbreaking conversation, they agreed to separate. At first, the separation seemed manageable. They agreed on joint custody, alternating weeks, shared holidays, and open communication. Amanda remained in the family home, while Eric rented an apartment nearby. For the sake of the children, they tried to stay civil. But as the weeks passed, things began to change. Eric started dating again, quickly, and not just casually. He introduced his new girlfriend, Claire, to the kids within just 2 months. Amanda, feeling blindsided and concerned about the children's emotional well-being, raised objections. Eric responded by accusing her of trying to control his life. What began as a civil arrangement spiraled into tension, mistrust, and silent battles. Arguments over pickup times turned into late-night texts full of blame. Disagreements about parenting decisions became bitter confrontations. Amanda began noticing changes in Lily and Noah, withdrawn behavior, sudden outbursts, and confusion about their living arrangements. She documented everything. When Amanda discovered that Eric had left the children with Claire alone for an entire weekend while he attended a legal conference, she lost her composure. She confronted him, and he laughed it off, telling her she was overreacting. But Amanda didn't think so. She believed their children were being exposed to instability and emotional stress. As a therapist, she recognized the signs, and so, after months of mounting concerns, she filed for sole custody. Eric was furious. He believed Amanda was weaponizing the legal system to get back at him for moving on. He counterfiled for full custody, claiming Amanda was emotionally unfit, overly controlling, and alienating the children from him. What had begun as a quiet separation turned into a full-blown custody war. Friends took sides. The children were caught in the middle, and a once-loving couple now saw each other only through the lens of legal documents and courtroom appearances. As their case began to unfold in court, the judge ordered both parents to undergo psychological evaluations and parenting assessments. The courtroom had barely emptied from the first day's hearing when Amanda found herself sitting alone in her car, staring at her phone. A message from her mother blinked on the screen. "Stay strong. You're doing this for Lily and Noah." She took a deep breath and wiped her eyes. Tomorrow, she would go back in and continue fighting. Eric, meanwhile, was meeting with his legal team late into the night. His attorney believed that their best strategy was to discredit Amanda's professional background, suggesting that her experience in psychology gave her undue influence over the children. "We're not saying she's a bad mother," the lawyer said, "but we can imply she's manipulating them. Gently, repeatedly, until it sticks." Amanda had no idea what was coming. The second day in court opened with a jarring testimony. Claire, Eric's girlfriend, was called back to the stand. She calmly detailed weekends spent with the children, reading bedtime stories, taking them to the zoo, cooking meals. When asked if she felt Amanda had ever tried to prevent her from seeing the kids, Claire nodded. "She's never said it outright," Claire explained, "but the tone of her emails, the reluctance, it's there. I'm always made to feel like a stranger in their lives." Amanda sat still, her lawyer scribbling furiously. Her turn would come. Next, a school teacher took the stand. She spoke kindly of both parents, but mentioned that Lily had become withdrawn over the last few months. When pressed, she said Lily had written an essay titled, "Why I Don't Like Weekends." The court fell quiet as the teacher read the first few lines. "I like when Mummy picks me up, because we talk a lot. When I go to Daddy's house, Claire is nice, but I miss Mommy. Sometimes I want to go home, but I don't want to make anyone sad." Amanda closed her eyes. Eric's jaw tightened. The judge called a break. In the hallway, reporters circled like hawks, snapping photos and asking questions that no one wanted to answer. Amanda avoided the cameras. Eric stared straight ahead. Back inside, it was Amanda's turn. Her lawyer called her to the stand. She walked slowly, composed, but trembling inside. She took the oath and sat down. Her attorney began gently, asking her about her relationship with her children. Amanda described bedtime rituals, their favorite books, the songs they sang in the car. Then came questions about her profession, how she recognized emotional shifts in children, how she tried to maintain stability through the separation. "I didn't want any of this," Amanda said, her voice breaking. "I didn't file for full custody because I hate their father. I did it because I saw my children becoming anxious, confused, and scared. Something had to change." Then came cross-examination. Eric's lawyer stood. "Ms. Rivers, would you consider yourself an expert in child behavior?" "Yes," Amanda answered. "I have a master's in child psychology and 11 years of professional experience." "And you use that experience in your home, correct? With your own children?" "Yes. I apply my knowledge every day, professionally and personally." "So you're trained to observe, interpret, and even influence child behavior. Would you agree?" "I would agree that I am trained to support and help children process their emotions." "And do you think it's possible that your interpretation of Lily's or Noah's emotions might be influenced by your own feelings toward Mr. Dawson and his girlfriend?" Amanda paused. "I care about my children's well-being above all." "That wasn't the question. Can your own emotional bias affect your professional judgment?" Amanda didn't flinch. "All humans have bias. That's why I document everything. So the court, not my feelings, can decide what's best." It was a solid answer. Even the judge seemed to nod. Later, the custody evaluator presented findings. His testimony was complex, filled with psychological assessments and behavioral observations. But the takeaway was this: both parents were capable, both parents loved their children, but the children expressed more comfort, consistency, and emotional openness when with Amanda. Eric clenched his jaw. The evaluator also noted that Claire's involvement, while not inherently harmful, was premature given the children's emotional instability post-divorce. Day 2 ended with a warning from the judge. "We are not here to assign blame for a failed marriage. We are here to determine What arrangement serves the best interest of the children? Nothing more, nothing less. Amanda walked out, exhausted. Eric stormed past her without a word. That night, Amanda sat with Lily and Noah as they ate mac and cheese at the dinner table. She didn't mention court. She didn't ask them questions. She simply let them talk about their day. Lily laughed about a silly joke from school. Noah showed off a drawing. It was a house with two stick figures, one labeled Mommy, one labeled Me. Tears welled in Amanda's eyes. The judge called for a short recess. Amanda stepped out, breathing deeply in the hallway. Her lawyer leaned over and whispered, "You did well. Tomorrow, Eric takes the stand. That will be telling." The next morning, court resumed promptly. Eric's attorney stood confidently. "Your Honor, we now call Eric Dawson to the stand." Eric rose, buttoning his jacket. He was composed, charismatic, and ready to paint a very different picture from Amanda's emotional testimony. Under oath, he began by describing his bond with the children. "From the moment Lily was born, I was all in," he said. "I coached her T-ball team. I taught Noah how to ride a bike. I was there, always." He smiled as he recalled memories. On the surface, it was touching, but Amanda's lawyer took notes, waiting for the turn. Then Eric shifted gears. Things changed when Amanda got her promotion. She was rarely home. The nanny became the third parent. And whenever we disagreed on parenting choices, she undermined me. She'd reverse rules. She called me controlling when I was just trying to hold our family together. He described Amanda as domineering and emotionally erratic, accusing her of using the children as leverage. During one fight, he said, she locked herself in the bathroom for an hour while the kids were crying outside. I had to coax them down. Amanda's eyes narrowed. Her lawyer stood to object. "This is unsubstantiated, Your Honor." "Sustained," the judge said. When Amanda's lawyer cross-examined Eric, the strategy changed. "You mentioned Ms. Rivers was absent due to work," she said. "Didn't you accept a major out-of-town project for 4 months during that same year?" Eric blinked. "Yes, but You left the country for business. You missed Lily's birthday. Do you recall that?" He nodded, growing tense. "It was unavoidable." "Do you believe that makes you any less of a parent?" "No," he said flatly. Neither does Amanda," she replied, then paused. "And yet you've repeatedly painted her as unfit for the same thing." Eric's jaw tightened. The next witness was someone unexpected. Claire. Eric's girlfriend took the stand, nervous but poised. Her presence alone stirred whispers in the gallery. "I've tried to stay out of this," Claire began, "but I want to say that I love those kids. I never intended to replace their mother." She described weekends at Eric's new apartment, playing board games, movie nights, her efforts to create a bond with Lily and Noah. "But they seemed unsure," she admitted. "Especially Noah. He asked once if he had to call me Mom. I told him no, of course not. But I could tell they were confused." Amanda listened carefully. Claire wasn't hostile. In fact, her honesty could help her case. Then the guardian ad litem took the stand. His report was extensive, and everyone in the room knew his observations carried weight. "The children are clearly loved by both parents," he began, "but they have shown signs of stress, anxiety, and emotional regression since the separation." He highlighted drawings Lily had made: split homes, sad faces, broken hearts. He referenced Noah's recurring nightmares, which Amanda had mentioned earlier. "These aren't unusual in custody disputes," he said, "but the frequency of transitions and tension between the parents have made things worse." He recommended reducing the number of transitions and creating a more stable schedule. The final day of court. dawned quietly. The sky was overcast, mirroring the heavy anticipation Amanda and Eric felt as they walked through the courthouse doors. Both were exhausted from the emotional marathon of the last few weeks, but both were determined to see it through, no matter the outcome. Amanda sat with her attorney, quietly fidgeting with a bracelet Lily had made her. Eric arrived shortly after, alone. No Claire by his side. The judge entered and took his seat. The room held its breath. He began, after reviewing all evidence, testimonies, and the recommendations of the guardian ad litem, this court is prepared to deliver a decision in the best interest of the children. Amanda clasped her hands tightly. Eric leaned forward, listening intently. Custody will be awarded as follows, the judge said firmly. Amanda Rivers is granted primary physical custody, with joint legal custody shared with Eric Dawson. Mr. Dawson will have scheduled parenting time that ensures continued involvement in the children's lives, including alternating weekends, one weekday evening per week, and shared holidays. Eric lowered his head slightly. Amanda exhaled slowly, her eyes welling with tears, but she remained composed. The judge continued. This court strongly encourages both parents to participate in co-parenting counseling and to minimize conflict for the sake of Lily and Noah. Any future disputes must be addressed through mediation. There was a quiet murmur in the gallery. The verdict was not a victory or a loss. It was a resolution. Outside the courthouse, Amanda took a moment to breathe. Her attorney congratulated her quietly. "You handled this with grace," he said. Amanda nodded, then left to pick up her children. That evening, she sat with Lily and Noah over dinner. She didn't talk about the court's decision. She only said, "Things are going to be more peaceful from now on." Lily looked up and asked, "So, no more fighting?" Amanda smiled softly. "No more fighting." Eric began his new parenting schedule the following weekend. He picked the kids up for ice cream and the zoo. He was more attentive, more relaxed. Though awkward at first, the children warmed up quickly. Eric made it clear he wasn't trying to win favor, just rebuild trust. Over time, things improved.